So, is now really finally the right time to buy? Well, mortgage rates have been relatively stable. Congress just passed one of the biggest housing bills in decades, and we're beginning to see changes in the housing market that really favor buyers. So, today I'm going to break down what happened over the past month, where mortgage rates are today, and what that means for you in the real estate market, and as we head into August. So, what happened last month? Well, last month brought in a lot of important developments that are going to shape housing in the future. First, mortgage rates remain stable. We're still looking in the mid six range despite economic headlines. And of course, that's higher than what buyers want to see. But the nice thing is that we haven't had a lot of the drama that we've had over the last few years. Mortgage rates have finally stabilized in that mid six range. The second thing is that inflation is finally starting to cool, albeit slowly. So inflation is moving in the right direction, but not quickly enough for the Federal Reserve to make any significant policy changes. Now, part of that is because employment is also remaining relatively strong, which is helping to keep those mortgage rates in that mid six range. Finally, Congress passed and it has now become law the 21st Century ROAD to Housing Act, one of the largest housing packages that we've seen in a very long time. So, this legislation is here to tackle one of the nation's biggest challenges in the housing market, which is inventory. There's just not enough houses for people to buy. So, this bill supports affordable housing developments, supporting manufactured and modular housing, as well as creating an FHA pilot program for small dollar mortgages under $100,000. So this bill is not expected to lower mortgage rates and is not going to impact the housing market overnight. Construction takes time, but addressing housing supply is an important long-term step towards improving affordability in today's housing market. So where are the mortgage rates today? So mortgage rates are again hovering in that mid six range, and the biggest drivers are inflation, employment, and then investor confidence in the bond market. So mortgage rates are determined by the bond market, not by the Federal Reserve rate decisions. Now, that's why mortgage rates can change daily. They don't necessarily wait for changes when the Federal Reserve meets. However, the mortgage market is very dependent on Fed policy. Now, here in Hampton Roads, inventory compared to this time last year and even the year before, buyers have more choices. So we're seeing more seller concessions, fewer bidding wars, although right priced homes in desirable areas are still going quickly. So military demand, of course, still remains strong. Our local employment base is still here and it's still supporting our housing demands. And for buyers, even though we have seen improvement for buyers, preparation still matters. That's why having a fully underwritten conditional approval before writing an offer will still be your competitive advantage when you're out shopping in this market. So, what am I looking at next month as we head into August? Inflation reports, employment data, the bond market, and then early implementation of the new housing legislation. So, again, we're not going to see immediate effects from this housing legislation. However, I'm curious how builders, lenders, and local communities are going to respond because it has huge potential for improving housing affordability over the long term. And what that means for buyers is that if you're waiting for the perfect interest rate, you may miss opportunities that exist today. Today's market is offering more inventory, you're getting more negotiating power, more seller concessions, and there's less competition than what we saw a few years ago. Remember that you can always refinance your mortgage later. You cannot go back in time and buy the home that you had wanted when you first saw it. So, if you found this helpful, please give me a subscribe, give me a follow, comment. I always love to read my comments. Looking forward to giving you an update next month as we head into August. Until then, take care.